and the masters of the universe. I am Adam, Prince of Eternia and defender of the secrets of Castle Grayskull. This is Cringer, my fearless friend. Fabulous secret powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic sword and said, "By the power of Grayskull!" Cringer became the mighty Battle Cat, and I became He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Only 3 others share this secret. Our friends, the Sorceress, Man-at-Arms, and Orko. Together we defend Castle Grayskull from the evil forces of Skeletor.
Welcome to another episode of Go Ape Podcast. I'm Jon Randall, with me as always,
Brandon Gehringer.
Hello, Brandon.
What's going on?
Yeah.
How was your week?
Well, I kind of it was a strange week at work for me this week.
Secret of my success is going on at your work.
How do you figure?
2 companies merging, power struggle.
Where's Brantley Foster?
He's with Carlton Whitfield.
I'm Carlton Whitfield. Yeah. So it's for those in the know that keep up with news. The company I work for, and I have worked for 11 years, has been purchased in a $2.5 billion acquisition.
Billion?
Yes.
Holy shit!
By a rival company, and subsequently, I may or may not have a job in the near future. So yeah.
Yep. You can always deliver food with me at lunchtime.
I guess.
I'll show you the ropes, kid.
Maybe I can take care of babies.
Yeah.
You said that's a job.
Yeah, you can take care of mine.
Would you guys pay me?
No.
Then I can't live on
You'll
that.
be paid with the love that they'll give you for taking care of them.
Pass.
So this made the news already?
I'll pass on the love.
This was already out there?
Yeah, it's out there.
Okay.
The FCC is currently investigating the legalities of the trade.
Hopefully it'll be illegal.
Hopefully, I guess. But what good would that do me? Because that just tells me my company was obviously in some sort of dire straits, not the band, to need to be purchased.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's really going to be a positive thing if that's the case.
Right. So how much of that $1 billion or $2 billion are you going to get?
$2.5 billion.
2.5.
And I get 0 billions.
Okay.
0 billions of the dollars.
All right.
So yeah. So
okay.
So like this. So I got that going on.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Anything in the news or Hollywood? You want to talk about pop culture in our personal lives?
How about them announcing that they're remaking one of my favorite 80s films, Roadhouse, with
right.
Ronda Rousey playing the part of Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, well, doesn't really matter. Doesn't.
But really?
It's just the name of a movie.
But it's Roadhouse. I like Roadhouse.
But you're okay with them remaking stuff, so...
I guess, because, once again, I still have the original, and it's never going to be as good as the one with Swayze.
No.
We are Swayze crazy.
Of course, always, every day.
Yeah. And the only thing left Swayze in this world is Patrick Swayze.
That's true. His brother.
Yeah, so... What do you, what do you got?
I told you that hell froze over.
Hell did freeze over. What happened?
Apparently, M. Night Shyamalan
Ding Dong.
He didn't make a horrible, horrible movie.
What movie did he
that
have?
Movie,
that
The
came
Visit.
Out?
That one that we ragged about the old grandma.
Yeah, with the kid.
It actually got some decent reviews. It's sitting at a 63% right now on Rotten Tomatoes.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So we've lowered our standards so far for Shyamalan Ding Dong that a 63% is acceptable now for him.
Well, it's
like we're saying that this is okay. Like he didn't make a stinker, but he made something that
correct
in any school would be an F.
Yeah, it's got some competent work in it. This review right here, even though it's bad, it says this: "It is with some surprise and perhaps even a hint of disappointment that I must report that The Visit is merely mediocre and not the breathtaking calamity that we've come to anticipate from its author." So he's actually, and I think. Like IGN gave it a pretty high review, like an 8.
Well, I mean, do we trust IGN for anything?
I don't know. They're a little bit but yeah, they say that it's his best movie since Unbreakable and Sixth Sense.
Well, he's going to make Unbreakable 2, so that'll fix it.
Well, I don't know about that.
Unbreakable 2.
Okay, whatever.
He's trash.
But yeah,
he's a trash director. You see,
it says it's on the consensus on Rotten Tomatoes. It says it signals a welcome return to form for writer-director M. Night Shyamalan. So yeah, good for him. He finally did something competent. Well, when you hit him that many times, when you shoot that many times, you're going to hit something. So I guess after multiple failures.
Yeah, after you've launched so many bullets down a target range and killed so many innocent people and their careers. I guess.
So yeah, there it is.
Kudos, M. Night.
Yeah, you're a big fan of his.
I wonder what the M stands for.
I don't know.
Let's not investigate.
No.
What else we got?
I don't know. You got any? You don't have any? What about? There was a wrestling recently. I thought there was some wrestling. Was there a pay-per-view?
It was the review. It was that one. And
okay.
Shit, what was it?
Didn't you have some sort of wrestling go on recently?
I mean, kind of. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
All right. Well, whatever.
Who cares?
Football's back.
Football's back.
Football's back.
That's what matters.
Football, and your Dolphins are playing their first game.
Yep. Tomorrow, 1 p.m. Washington Redskins. It should be an easy win, as they have the 32nd worst defense in the league.
Well, that worked.
So it should be a win for us.
And is RG3 going to come out there in a full body cast?
But if anybody could figure out a way to screw it up, it'll be the Dolphins.
That is true. They'll lose it right at the end. No, they'll have you thinking you're going to. No, they're going to win a couple games. Remember, they're going to win like the first 3 games, and get your hopes all up while you're looking at your feet, and then they're going to lose all the rest of them.
In a true traitorous form, I found myself cheering heavily for Tom Brady on Thursday night.
That's right.
Because I drafted him in my fantasy football league, even though he was suspended for 4 games. Jokes on my league, it was reversed. And I had Tom Brady. And he threw 4 touchdowns.
They thought you were going to have a stinker for 4 games. You were going to have your boy for 4 games.
And, so I'm a little bit of a traitor to my Dolphins because I was pulling for Tom Brady. I even kind of discussed it myself. But, but I can't deny his ability. I just can't. He's a good quarterback. So, so that worked out for me. He put up 35 points for me Thursday.
That's pretty good.
That's a great start.
That is a good start.
Your Jacksonville Jaguars are ready to go on Sunday?
Against the...
I don't know.
I haven't really... tomorrow's when I'll kick into full Jacksonville Jaguars.
Born in the womb. Paying attention.
Paying attention. Yeah, I've had a lot of other stuff go on, so I haven't really been able to fill
Really?
up.
What else has been going on?
Just other stuff.
Other things.
Other things. But those are... Fantastically, they're finally finished, and I can concentrate on other things. I'm no longer running a role-playing game. I know you saw that on Twitter.
I did.
And our thousands of followers that follow me and know about the show know that I am finally, after roughly about 4 years, I'm not running a role-playing game.
For how many weeks? 1 week?
I don't know. No,
roughly 1 week.
No, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a little while. It might be like a month.
4 weeks. Yeah. So basically, you've been suspended for 4 weeks.
Sure.
That's what it is.
I'll take it. I need a break.
GM suspension.
I need a break.
So what happened? Did you guys finish your adventure Thursday night?
We finished it. They killed the big bosses at the end.
Did Joe die?
No.
Congratulations, Joe.
He did get knocked out. But one of the other Joes did get killed. He got snapped. He got pinched in half by a huge claw pincher.
Does that Joe listen to the show?
No.
Well, fuck him. But to Joe that listens, you were dead weight for the adventure.
Right. Well, no, he did good. There was three players. Their characters were incapacitated. One was killed right out. I'm talking like snipped in half, 2 pieces. And then the other 2 players, they're the ones that
you didn't let him make a roll to see if he could still function Bishop from Aliens.
He took massive amount of damage, and he's a little tiny frog creature too, so he's not really big. He's only like 4 feet tall, and so snipped by a huge monstrous sea serpent with like crab pinchers.
What would be worse if you were a tiny frog creature, snipped in half, or M80 it's like strapped to you?
Probably that.
And then
that's definitely gonna do it. Well, you could tie up the parts that are cut in half and maybe live. You're gonna have some difficulty, but you'd be able to crawl around on your hands. But no, that's one thing that's really been going on. Hasn't been any trailers or anything going on. I've noticed. Like, there's no trailers for anything.
Well, maybe people are wising up. Like, let's stop advertising movies on TV because everybody's already seen them on YouTube.
Well, stop putting them on the internet. That's what I would do.
Like, who gives a shit?
Get some more information.
Information.
Yep.
Go.
This is about a previous gripe of mine.
Oh.
About a young mutant by the name of Apocalypse that's going to be in the new hip upcoming X-Men movie. Apocalypse is the name of it.
Uh-huh.
Through backlash from Apocalypse looking like shit.
Oh.
Yes. They have apparently gone back through the movie and used computer wizardry using the mouse and keyboard, they were able to select like the green, the blue, and the red on him, and they instead of him being purple with a lot of red and blue, they made him. I mean, red. Yeah, they
made him more blue.
They made him more blue.
Okay,
so he's going to be more blue in the movie.
Well, did they perhaps do something to inflate his muscles and maybe make him a few feet taller? Well, it's still a pass for me.
He does have the mouth things, but it just doesn't look like Apocalypse to me. And the fact that they were trying to pass him off as some big purple idiot like that,
right,
still's a no-go. You can't sit there and try to hand me a piece of shit and say, here, I want you to eat this. And then you say, hey, whoa, that shit. And they say, oh, well, let me spruce it up with some spices and shit. I'm like, no, it's still shit. So you still try to pass off shit as food to me. No, thank you.
Speaking of food I gave you tonight.
You gave me some nachos.
It might have had shit in it.
Oh, boy.
Sorry.
He made me some nachos. He did not feed me, which I thought he was going to hand feed me the nachos.
Oh, okay. I was like, I did feed you.
I asked you to feed me.
Physically fed you.
Yes.
No.
But he didn't do that. That's unfortunate.
No. You're not some sort of Roman emperor.
That would be nice. Do we have anything else? All right, he's locked up.
No.
He's locked up.
Nothing else.
Okay, so we're going to get into this movie.
Yep.
Masters of the Universe.
Motu.
What?
M-O-T-U.
Okay.
That's how everybody talks about on the internet, bro. Get with the times.
Whatever.
It's big in the M-O-T-U fandom.
All right. I'll go with this. This is a 1987 American science fantasy action film.
That's a lot of categorization.
Did you say categories?
Categories.
American science fantasy action film directed by Gary Goddard.
Okay.
And starring Dolph Lundgren. Lundgren.
One of my dogs is real restless tonight.
I don't know what's going on. Probably needs to be bludgeoned. So yeah, Dolph.
Go lay down.
Lundgren.
Get
Lundgren. So yeah, I saw this movie in the theater.
For once, you finally saw one in the theater.
I did,
and I did not.
I'm gonna go ahead and show you this current day picture of Dolph Lundgren, just to stunt you.
Well, no, I mean we've all seen him he's very popular in the Expendables.
That's true. He's a Swedish actor, and director, screenwriter, filmmaker, martial artist, and chemical engineer.
Graduate of MIT.
Very smart.
Very smart man.
Very smart.
Too bad he can't speak any English.
No, he can. He's probably the best of the. Is he better than Arnold? I think he's better than Arnold.
Better than Arnold?
Of course he is.
Schwarzenegger?
Oh, yeah.
At what?
Speaking English.
Oh.
What did you think?
I don't know.
You're off kilter tonight. I don't know what's going on.
I didn't know where you were going.
I think he speaks better than JCVD, and I think he speaks better than Arnold. But it's still a little.
No.
I don't know if it's just big. He just has big man syndrome. I think he speaks okay. He's just got big man.
I'm going to say that Arnold speaks better English than him.
With all the
yes.
All right, whatever. So this movie came out in 1987.
Yep.
It what was the budget? You think?
All right,
budget.
I'm going to give the budget $18 million.
$22 million. Very close.
I was close. All right.
You were closer to what it made in the box office at $17.3 million.
So it's a loss.
It's a critical and commercial failure.
No, you don't say. You know what the problem was?
What's that?
He-Man was in a fucking cape the whole movie.
Yeah, you didn't like the cape. He wasn't for the whole movie. But
hated that fucking cape, dude. Listen, here's the thing.
You didn't like the cape.
Watched that cartoon my whole life growing up as a kid. You did too? Yeah, exactly. And
I was trying to think of your whole life as a kid.
That's exactly right.
Right.
Your whole child life.
Okay.
He never wore a cape. He-Man had no cape.
I didn't see him with a cape.
Where was Battle Cat?
No Battle Cat.
It was a poor adaptation.
Well, what was
Adaptation?
There we go. What was Skeletor's cat? What was that panther?
What
was his name?
It was Mighty Panther. Yeah, that was his name.
Well, really?
No.
Fuck.
I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't know, but I like those.
I never had that one as a kid.
So we watched the cartoon, obviously.
Yes.
We were children of the '80s. He-Man was very popular. You had your three. You had He-Man, G.I. Joe, Transformers. Those were a given. Those were a staple. Okay. I enjoyed He-Man. Now I want to say this about all those cartoons in the '80s. Like I watched them, but the mentality back then for me wasn't to absorb myself in that. You know what I mean? So like I watched them, and I knew some of the characters' names and stuff, but I didn't really go all crazy about them all.
Did you? So you mean you didn't have like toys and stuff?
I had the toys, but like I played with them a little bit here and there, and I just didn't really like. Today we really delve into everything that we enjoy nerdom wise. And back then, I enjoyed all the characters and stuff, but I just didn't really dwell. I had to go play outside. And
back then, man, it was hard because you didn't have the money to do that.
Nobody had the
Everything
money.
was super expensive in the 80s.
And nobody had money. Well, you didn't have money.
I remember Castle Grayskull. Like my parents wouldn't get it for me; it was too expensive. And then somebody else, one of my parents' friends, got it for me like one year for Christmas or something. But that's how I got it. It was that was the fucking greatest thing ever.
Of course,
Castle Grayskull. But those toys, man, I had a lot of those toys, man, as a kid. But
I had a couple.
But yeah, when we grew up, I will say it was a lot different. Because I remember playing outside a lot. Like my parents made us do that.
Yeah, we played outside.
My parents were like, "Turn off the video games, get your ass outside."
Well, the video games are too fucking hard to play. So after a while, we got irritated and we went outside and played. We were more interested in stuff like
building forts,
forts, creeks, guns. Stuff like that. So, but still, I enjoyed He-Man and I enjoyed G.I. Joe and Transformers, but I just didn't really dwell much on them. They were just kind of givens at the time. So this movie came out, and I guess it didn't do well. I remember in the theater when I was there, even as a young lad, I was 10 years old, I guess. I was like, where is this, and where is that, and why are we here, and where's these characters? Where are these bad guys? Where's some of these good guys?
Well, you know what?
It was just like, where's all the stuff that I know?
I didn't think about this till just now when you said the big three from our childhood. Mm-hmm. But you know why this movie failed, Brandon?
What's that?
Did G.I. Joe have a movie?
A cartoon.
Did Transformers have a movie?
Cartoon.
Did He-Man have a movie? Live action.
Live action.
That's the problem.
You're right.
That's where it failed. Because they made cartoon movies of those cartoons, so you got all the characters you wanted to see.
And luckily, those two later on had live action, and they're all great. G.I. Joe movies, Transformers.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So none of these would work in live action.
But what I'm saying, exactly.
You're right.
That's why this failed, is because they made it a live action film instead of a damn cartoon, like everybody else.
Well, I'll speak about, I think, why it probably failed at the end once we start discussing stuff. But it's also got Courtney Cox in it, in a role for her, so she is somebody that we know.
It's got Robert Duncan McNeil, who played Tom Paris on Voyager.
Nobody knows who he is.
Trey does.
That's true. This was Courtney Cox's second movie. Her first movie was called Down Twisted. And this was her second movie. Her third movie, Cocoon, The Return. We'll be doing those movies.
We will not.
We will be doing those movies.
Why?
I don't know.
Cocoons are not good movies. Do you even own those?
No.
Then we're surely not going to do them.
We'll get them on Blu-ray, some sort of double pack.
Because
that's all you need. That's all Perry needs is that pull from Cocoon, and he's fixed. All right, so that's the film. Like I said, $22 million budget, 17.3. We'll start in. Strap on. Here we go.
Did we say Frank Langella is in this?
No, we didn't. You can say
he plays Skeletor.
He plays Skeletor, and I think looking back, it's a character that you don't see that he would play nowadays. And I think overall he did a good job, despite some hamming at certain scenes. But he did good for Skeletor. I mean, he was all right. And I think if you said this is the guy that's behind the mask for the roles that he has now, you would be like, whoa, that's really stepping outside the bounds.
And when I saw this movie as a kid, like I said, I saw it, I believe, as a video rental. Mm-hmm. I always thought it was Jack Palance.
Well, that's understandable.
I mean,
he's Palance. He's Palance.
I mean, Skeletor. The Skeletor in this movie, the mask, looks like Jack Palance. So
take that, Jack Palance.
He's dead. So he really looks like Skeletor now.
He's listening with ghost powers. Spirit powers.
So yeah. So I always thought it was Jack Palance.
He can't see us because of his eyes, but he. So it starts off with Castle Grayskull.
Oh God, let me get my notes out.
It's a painting of Castle Grayskull.
Yeah, it's a painting. The start of the movie is a painting, people.
And of course, like many of these movies, we watched it on Netflix. You can watch it currently. It's now there available.
Yep, they just put it on.
And it's available in high def. So that's something new for the listeners.
Yep.
And it's a movie that shouldn't probably be looked at in high def. Because some stuff looks like absolute doo-doo. Jonathan's locked up.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell people the little problem we had tonight, once again, with this film, and other films we've had. This was autocorrect hell for us tonight.
It really was.
Skeletor was becoming Skeleton. Evil Lynn was becoming Evelyn.
Yeah.
And here's my first autocorrect. Didn't even get through the second sentence, and I didn't catch it.
Jeez.
There's some troopers, bad guys, that are all in Skeletor's castle. They're guards.
Yeah.
I said they all look like Darth Vader's everywhere because they have like Darth Vader helmets on.
Okay.
Darts Vader everywhere.
He's great at darts, dude.
So there you go.
That's a good name. I like that.
All right.
Well, for the intro and the credits, there's some music that's just straight rip off of Superman music theme. Agree?
Sure.
I mean, it sounds just like it. And this is the world of Eternia. Mm-hmm. And this is the world that we know from He-Man, I guess. You don't really see many locales. But alas, we'll call it that. Yeah, we call it Eternia. And they show Skeletor. There's obviously the music, the way it's playing, the way he's walking in with the black cape and stuff. This is very Empire Strikes Back-esque.
Yeah, and there'll be more of that later, too.
Yes, there is a lot of Star Wars reference type thing of this. And I'd say he looks okay. I think his makeup...
I don't think he looks bad.
His makeup, the only thing that looks bad about him is you can see the cloth on his nose. But, today they've CGI that out. But you still see the cloth on the nose. And, I mean, hell, you can still see some of the faces on the Nazgul in Lord of the Rings, Like, you can see the people underneath the thing. But, I mean, no, okay. Other than that, I think he looks very well. He looks good. And I would say, I've probably got it listed a little bit somewhere else, I think that a lot of the outfits look good in the movie. They look serviceable. Like, I thought He-Man's armor, what little armor he wore, he was practically nude in the film, it looked okay. And then Skeletor's armor looked okay as well. Like, there was several stuff I was like, that doesn't look too bad. I don't see it looking like... I guess it could always be better, but it's much, much better than I thought it was going to be for this type of movie.
How'd you feel about He-Man being practically nude in the film?
I'm okay with it.
Okay, just checking.
I mean, he was practically nude anytime you held him in his hand. The one that I always loved was the battle damage He-Man, where you spun his chest and it showed the damage. I was like, is that damage not affecting him somehow? That looks pretty rough.
It was a huge gash in his chest.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right.
I used to love it. So, I said his nose looks a little doo-doo. But other than that, Skeletor looks fine. Okay, Sorceress. She looks her part. She's captured. And she says that He-Man, she's talking to Skeletor, and she's like, look, He-Man's still alive. I can feel it. And so he gives her some pain. He's like, she's like trapped in some sort of light.
It's a light prison.
It's a light prison. It's a cheap way to capture somebody.
Yeah, it's a light shining up from the ground, causing a beam of light up into the air. She's just standing there.
She acts as if she can't.
Yeah. I'm trapped in the light.
Yeah. And he like zaps her. He's like, take that, you.
Yeah.
And so he all of a sudden is a huge hologram to all his troops over the sky of Eternia. And he says that he now has the sorceress's powers, I guess from the jail cell that she's in, the light cell, and of course him zapping her. And he pretty much says that everybody should pledge yourself to me. I would probably go along with that. I mean, you're going to show up in the sky, like
like a god,
huge, like a god. Yeah, okay, I'll follow you.
Yeah, I'm going to take this guy seriously.
Yeah, he seems to be legit. And who's watching? Who sees it?
He-Man.
That's played by Dolph Lundgren.
Yep.
And how do you think he does as what you know from the movie from the cartoon to this?
Poor.
All right.
What'd you think?
Well,
here's the thing, man.
At the time, I can see why they got him, obviously.
I mean, I guess, but like...
Who they could have gotten? Arnold? Jesus.
Dude, no, I mean, I'm not going to say everybody should be fucking Arnold, but like...
It's not a bad idea.
Like,
could you imagine Forrest Gump with Arnold?
I mean, like, he just can't act. He's a terrible actor. I mean,
That's not great.
I don't know what he had done up to this point. He had done probably Rocky IV, Adrian's Revenge, but
you can't win.
I actually have something in regards to that in this. But anyways, I mean, he's just a bad actor, and a lot of the times, some of the lines that come out are poor,
very wooden. And speaking of Rocky,
unintelligible,
right? And something we needed to speak about. We got Mayweather versus Berto tonight. And it's a terrible fight. You shouldn't be watching it. So
we shouldn't even speak about it. That's it.
It's a joke. It's a joke. All right. So I got my notes, and I'm heading back into it. But yeah, he's not a great actor. And so He-Man fights some of the grunts, kicks their ass.
Yeah.
This is the first action scene. And I will say
I used the word thwarts. He thwarts bad guys.
I said dispatch a lot in this movie.
I'll put He-Man thwarts bad guys carrying that wizard from Willow. That's what I wrote.
Yeah, he kicks these guys' asses, and I will say, within the first 5 minutes, you're getting a fight scene. So, okay.
Okay.
He meets up with Man-at-Arms and Teela, which is Man-at-Arms' his daughter.
Yep.
His real name is Duncan.
Okay. I don't recall that from the cartoon.
No. And so they see something moving around in a net, and you're correct. This is the
wizard from Willow.
Yeah, this is the Elwyn wizard from Willow's village.
No apprentice this year.
Exactly.
That's how he said it. It's played by Billy Barty, who was actually a very famous little person actor who was in a lot of movies in the 80s.
Yeah, and sadly he's passed on.
He has passed on. But yeah, he was actually in a lot of movies from the 80s, like Time Bandits, this, pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Legend,
Yeah.
Willow.
He's in tons of stuff.
I mean, yeah, he was in a ton of stuff. So, yeah, played by Billy Barty, who's actually a good actor.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the mask he wears in this film
Terrible.
is awful.
Yeah, his name is... They free him, of course, in the net. And he says that his name is Gwildor.
Greldor?
Gwildor.
Grildor.
Gwildor.
Did you actually look that up?
I did.
Because I really seriously thought it was Greldor. Greldor. Whatever. You could barely understand his name half the movie, and I seriously believe that they called him different things throughout the film.
Yeah, that people had a hard time staying on. He's a Thenorian locksmith, you see.
Wow.
Wikipedia.
I've
I've got Wikipedia right along here. You thought I'd get all his notes like I'm some sort of genius.
That was some deep shit right
Thenorian
there.
locksmith.
Okay.
And so I say that his cheeks look like scrotums. I hate his cheeks.
Smashed scrotums
Yes.
like hammers.
Yeah, someone has smashed, pancaked out someone's scrotum and super glued them to this guy's face.
Pancaked it out with like a grill somehow because it was like
Grill marks.
grill marks going through it. Yeah, it looked real bad. And every time he speaks, his mouth does not move.
His mouth moves roughly a centimeter.
I mean, it's a bad mask. It's
really
a very
is.
bad prosthetic.
And his mouth is probably anywhere between 5 and 6 inches across his mouth. It's terrible.
In a forever smile.
Yeah, he's not good. He's not good. And he is ultimately, when I was a kid, I was like, who is this fucker? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like the very first, and like, this movie, we're doing good. We've got Man-at-Arms. We've got He-Man. We've got Skeletor. And all of a sudden, shitbird.
Well, this is a perfect example, okay? Why couldn't they just fucking call him Orko and make him look like Orko from the cartoon?
I don't know. They thought it would be too campy, maybe.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense, man. You basically have a character who, even though he's a Thorian locksmith, locksmith,
Yeah.
Just make him a fucking wizard of the court of Grayskull, and he's fucking Orko. Like, why is that so hard? I don't understand why they change things like that.
Well, he takes them to his house, and he has to unlock it. And I just got written here, his mouth barely moves. And of course, when he shuts the door, it's that scene of like all these huge locks locking on his door.
And then he puts a little chain lock on.
Yeah, well, he is a Thenorian locksmith. So that makes sense, and they got that correct.
Those locks really worked out for him well.
High explosives will take care of a lot of that stuff. It's the rest of his house that was trash. You have a nice door, but you kick the door down, under the wall down.
What was he protected in there?
Exactly. He shows them some sort of prototype gizmo, and he says it's why they are after him. It's called the Cosmic Key.
It can open a door to anywhere.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly what I wrote my next line. You're psychic, obviously. And he says that he has 2 keys, and he helped he was pretty much bamboozled by a woman, and it's helped Skeletor get into Grayskull.
Isn't that always the way?
Yep.
It's always a woman.
Yep, it was her feminine wilds got him.
They made us eat the apple.
Yep. It's a mess.
Yeah, I mean...
And so at this moment, of course, Skeletor's troops have found out where they are, and they come blasting the door down.
Yep.
As they make a hasty escape out the back.
Yep.
And they're, of course, looking for this key. Cosmic. Yeah. It's a cosmic key.
Yeah, and they sneak in. They've snuck in to rescue the sorceress.
Yeah, they creep in and make contact with the sorceress.
Yep.
Gwildor begins to open a portal, and how he does that, he starts fingering this key.
Does he ever?
This thing is like... I don't know, dude.
It's cylindrical in shape with basically a bunch of tuning forks on top of it.
It's like...
And it's basically has keys that go around the cylinder.
Right.
So what you have to do is
shaft.
You have to work your hands up and down this cylindrical object, and then these things, these tuning forks erect themselves coming out the top as your hands move up and down it.
Yeah.
And,
And then some white stuff appears up in the sky.
Yeah.
That it opens up a portal for you. My problem, even when I was a kid, I didn't like it. I just don't like the way that his hands are so furiously...
He just had Jimmy fingers.
Just constantly going on these keys, and he's always looking at people, and he was just he's a real irritating character. I just did not like him. He was supposed to be some cute element, I think, for kids, and it's not what I wanted to see. Every time he's doing it with his little hands, it's just, ugh. And he's looking at the camera. Oh, it's terrible. And of course, at this moment, he's going to open up the portal. Evelyn shows up.
Yep.
She is the right-hand lady to Skeletor. And she comes in. This is obviously the woman that finagled the key away from him, I believe. Mm-hmm. From some of the powers we see that she has later on in the film. Some troops enter with her and Skeletor. And I've got written here, some props look good. Like the armor and the way that Skeletor looks. I mean, it looks okay. And I thought his bad guys looked all right. There wasn't really anything physically I was like, that looks like shit. Or, there's some bad...
Well, even the whole throne room looked pretty cool.
The throne looked okay. I mean, it's nothing too bad. So they realize that they have a key. And there's a big... Because there's some talking back and forth, obviously. And once he realizes they've got a key because little man's doing his little... And I call him little shit in the movie. That's what I've got written down. Little shit. It's a shootout. You get blasters and stuff, and this is the first time we see He-Man using his blaster 90% of the movie, I believe, or 75%.
Too much
over his sword. Yeah, I don't ever remember him. Me and him never remember him using a blaster type thing.
Yeah, no, they had blasters in the cartoon, but He-Man never used one that I recall.
Well, and it's the whole red and blue blasters, Good
guys, bad guys.
Yep. They open up a portal, and I say I hate his little fingers working the keys like a maniac.
I wrote, this movie already bores me. And then I put, this fucking portal is straight out of Sliders.
It really is. But that's the thing. You've seen a good bit of action and stuff going on.
Yeah, I guess. But there's also been some blah, blah, blah parts where he was talking about the key and other shit. I was just like, I don't care. I don't care about your key.
So they jump in, and the key gets shot out of his hand. As they're jumping through the portal, all of a sudden a grapple hook flies out of the portal, grasps the key, and brings it in with them as they're jumping through the portal. Our heroes.
They've slided.
They're the slider. And now I just wrote, the movie now becomes ass as they are in our world. And this is one of my main problems with it.
And we looked at the time, 17 minutes in.
17 minutes in.
17 minutes. We got 17 minutes of Eternia. Yeah.
You had already checked out or were bored.
Yeah.
And I'm saying now we've gone down the shithole because now we're in our world. I don't want to see that. And obviously I knew that was what was going to happen from the trailers and stuff. You can tell. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see that, man. That's already going into the movie. It was a disappointment. Mm-hmm. And now looking back as I'm older, I now know that this is strictly fucking budget reasons. And it's also to just curb story. It's so cliched and just it goes down such a path. You already know what's going to happen. And it just wasn't the movie I wanted to see. I wanted to see a movie like Krull, Legend, Labyrinth, Dark Crystal, He-Man. I wanted to see it in their world with their stuff. I didn't get that in this film. And I got written here in my next line, I hate this little fucker. This little Gweldor. And because he lands in some water. They're out in the woods or something. He lands in like a little pond. And when they all hop up, he like squirts water out of his gill slits. It's gross.
I thought it came straight out of his ears.
He said gill slits. You're not born with gill slits. And he squirts out this water. I was like, you're an idiot.
Every time he talks, all I hear is, "No, a princess this year."
Of course. That's all I hear. That's all you need to know. And he doesn't know where they are. And the key is missing from yonder grapple hook as they look at it. Okay, that's weird. Y'all all arrived there.
Yeah, you've all landed in proximity of each other.
You know what they should do, since they don't know where it is? Perimeter search.
Fan out.
Get it?
Each person take a sector.
Yeah. Squadron? What do you say?
I thought you said sector.
Did you say sector or squadrant or something?
Quadrant?
Yeah, that's good. That's what I'm saying.
Quadrant?
Yeah, it's a mixture of it's a mixture of the two.
Squadrant. Yes. Okay.
So all of a sudden they're looking at some gizmo that shows them where I guess a creature's coming at them. You hear some noise. It's a cow.
Yep.
And instantly they're in our world, and he's shooting water out of his gills like some sort of clown, and they're amazed at a cow. And I was just like, this is insane.
And Gweldor says, I should try to communicate with it. So let me get this straight. You've landed here, and I guess this is the dominant species, because it's right here.
I guess so.
You have no beast in your world, apparently.
Apparently not.
And that'll come in, that's a thing, too, in a few minutes.
Okay. And they're all going to, when they split up, they're going to, they say good journey. And they do some
they never say goodbye.
They say some sort of hand gesture.
Yeah. They like kind of put these two fingers on their lips. They're like, shh, don't speak. And then they just push their hand forward and say,
I think I missed that.
Then they push their hand forward with like their thumb cocked in on their palm, and they're like, good journey.
Good journey, guys.
That's how they say. That's what everybody says. Good journey. So we're going to really adopt that, and that's going to be our new thing. No. We're doing that.
Shit. Okay. Switch over to Robbie's fast food place, Ribs and Chicken.
Yep.
And Courtney Cox, a young Courtney Cox, is manning the register. And she has a friend there who she's talking to, and a co-worker.
Yep.
And she's obviously talking about moving away with her boyfriend, Kevin.
I thought she was moving away and going to break up with Kevin.
Was she?
I thought so, yeah.
Really pay attention.
I thought she was, I think she was going to break up with Kevin because he was bad news.
Yeah.
And she was going to go completely start over somewhere.
She wanted to go to, like, New York or L.A. or someplace. Okay?
Sure.
And, it starts playing the song "Living in a Cardboard Box." That was enjoyable.
It's a good tune.
And so Man-at-Arms and Tila start looking at Robbie's fast food ribs and chicken from yonder bushes. They're looking at it.
They've somehow arrived at the same quadrant, even though they've split up.
Where's it? Squadron?
It's whatever. Tila basically chastises her father for being in her search area.
Yep.
And he says, I follow the old nose. Like, he smelled the food, and he's like...
they're hungry.
Yeah, well, he is anyways.
Of course.
He's always hungry.
Mm-hmm. They see Shithead from some other bushes.
Yep.
And little Shithead uses the grapple hook to snag some people who are making out in a convertible.
Yeah, he snags their bucket of chicken from
Chicken
the back.
and ribs.
Chicken and ribs.
And so they sit around. They
Well,
meet up
my
together.
favorite thing was they look at each other after he steals it, and they're like, Greldor.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
Gwildor.
Whatever. I'm going to say Greldor because that's what I wrote every time.
Okay.
They act like this is so Greldor.
I know.
They just met this fucker.
Yeah, that's so like him.
Like, they just freed him from Skeletor's goons, like, 20 minutes before this.
His scampiness is implied.
I guess they instantly picked up on his scampiness.
I guess. And so they all sit around in the woods there in the bushes eating these ribs and chicken. Of course, Man-at-Arms loves it. And she's like, it's weird that they put their food on these little white sticks.
Yeah.
And once they realize that it's an ant, she's shocked that she's shocked that it's an animal.
Yeah, Man-at-Arms says that's a rib bone.
Yeah, it's a rib bone.
And her and Greldor are both kind of getting a little bit freaked out. He's still eating. He doesn't give a shit. Man-at-Arms, I mean. Greldor and her are looking at it, and they're like, this used to be a animal? These people are barbarians. Like, so...
You've never seen bones before?
You don't have any animals that you eat on your planet at all?
I guess not. They're all vegetarians. I didn't see any grass in that desolate wasteland they lived in.
No, I didn't.
And on top of that, I'm like, how did you get any, like, how did He-Man get so muscly?
No protein.
No protein. I guess he was eating a lot of...
Soy.
Yeah, he was going soy. He got greedy. And then on top of that, I'm like, so you've been in a battle with Skeletor's forces and you haven't seen bones? You haven't seen... You're like a... I'll give her the benefit of the doubt of like a 23-year-old woman and you don't know what bones are? You can't tell that that's meat on bones? Ooh, that's a real stupid part. So you find out through Julie talking to Kevin that Julie's parents ate it in a plane crash.
Yep.
They were supposed to go to the beach that day. She told them she needed to study, but really wanted to be with Kevin. She wishes she could change things.
Yeah, I have here as my next note, I put Courtney Cox at cemetery with Big. I don't know what that auto-corrected from, so I don't know. I don't even know what my thought was.
Probably perverted.
She was at the cemetery with Kevin, looking at her parents' tombstones.
Yeah.
What do they want on them?
Pepperoni.
I also wrote right after that, because apparently they have some kind of conversation in the cemetery. Mm-hmm. I wrote, blah, 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 I hate this.
Yeah, I just like...
That's what I wrote.
I just like when I wrote, they ate it in a plane crash. So we got a Spider-Man situation going on from this Amazing Spider-Man.
And then I wrote, they find the key. I hate this. How? How did it get this far from where everybody else landed?
Yeah. Not only that, but when it hit the ground, it created a crater.
Like it fell out of the sky.
Did they create craters when they hit?
Well, maybe that was the mud puddle. They created such a deep crater, it filled up with water.
Well, they start fiddling with it, of course.
Of course they do.
And he starts playing it like a musical instrument. Of course, he's all jazzed up with it. He's obviously a musician of some sort and variety. And when he does that, you see Skeletor's got the other key. And he's got goons with technology. And he's like, oh, they're like, Skeletor, listen, dude, the key's being used right now. He says, okay, get our troops ready. They use it again, we go get it. Easy.
Brilliant.
Yep. So yeah, next time we'll send troops. So they go to the school. There's obviously some sort of, let's say, like welcome seniors or something, or
a dance. That's
some sort
happen.
of dance. It's some sort of like fantasy thing.
Yeah, some shit.
Something. And there's a band. You can see the instruments are up there. There's nobody there except for Kevin and Julie. That's Courtney Cox's character. And again, they start messing with the key. Energy and light and stuff come off of it. The little forks stick up, become erect. And Skeletor and friends are now tracking it. Ah, there they go. They started doing it. And so now, Evelyn is introducing Skeletor to 4 bounty hunter types, is what I wrote.
I'm going to let you take this part.
Yeah. So see if you can get this straight. It's showing Skeletor. He's in black. He's got Evelyn there. There's 4 bounty hunters that kind of walk forward and stand side by side as each one is shown and acknowledged. The first one's got, his name is Blade. You can see why, as he's a bald guy with many blades and stuff on him. The second one is some sort of reptilinoid or reptilid person. The third one, was that Beastman? I think so.
Yeah.
And he kind of looks like his action figure. Not really. Yeah. He's not orange enough.
I mean, yeah, but he's not a bad.
No, he's not too bad.
Like,
he's got a little bit too much gear on him, but oh well. And then the fourth one is Karg. Now, we've seen Karg, because Karg is the one that helped them get into the little shithead's house. Okay, he kind of ordered those troops around. Karg, straight off the bat, I hate. I hate the design of this creature. It's horrible. It's got this huge, puffy white hair. It's got this little tiny face and this gray skin. One hand is a hook, which is probably about almost a half a foot away from where the hand is. I mean, it's terrible. And there's just something about the way it looks. I hate it.
And sounds.
Yeah, the way it sounds. Its head is about the size of your table right here. I loathe Karg. And of course, they're introduced to each, and again, this is straight out of Empire Strikes Back, Dengar, Bosk, IG-88,
Zuckuss,
Boba Fett. They're all there. This is the same scene. Same scene. So,
you know what I say?
What do you say?
Bounty hunters. We don't need their scum.
That's right. Oh, Star Wars. So Kevin takes off and tells her to stay put. Don't let anybody in except Carl. Who was Carl?
It's his buddy from the music store?
That was Charlie.
Oh, yeah, that was Charlie. I don't know.
Carl had to do something, I think, with the place, maybe. That's the guy
who gets guy that gets his ass beat.
He gets his ass beat. So enter the troops through yonder portal. And the portal is very close, like it's in a couple other doors down from her or something. Yeah. Three doors down, maybe. Yeah, are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay? Right, that one got out easy. And so she hears some noise, so she starts walking that way. And some dude kind of comes around the corner. He's like, "Hey, what's going on here?" And they just instantly kick his ass. And I think that's Carl. He's like, "Hey, you can't be in here."
Yeah, you see him get blasted through the door to the gymnasium.
I'm like, dude, these are monsters. What are you doing walking up to monsters and being like, "Hey, you're not allowed in here"?
Maybe you just thought they were dudes in costumes.
I guess so.
And then I put bounty hunters show up and attack Monica.
That's not bad. I like that. She tries to escape, and there's she's a small girl and able to maneuver away and stuff. And throughout these hijinks of attacking her and stuff and her getting away, the place is set ablaze. That's detrimental to the place.
Sorry, I was reading my next note.
All right, what is your next note?
Well, it's a little bit away, so I'll let you keep talking about this.
Well, He-Man hears her screams as she hides in a junkyard. He quickly goes to intercept.
Yeah, I wrote He-Man shows up. He barely has a grasp on the English language.
The bounty hunters, of course, are after her. That's what they do.
I hate He-Man's cape.
I know you
That's what I wrote.
Yeah,
That's what I wrote right here.
Well, she runs chest full into He-Man.
Yeah.
And I really thought there was going to be a moment where she kind of like looks at his body. You know what I mean? But then it's PG-13. I mean, it's PG.
You're dreamy.
Yeah, you're dreamy. They creep into a warehouse looking for her as He-Man begins to kick their ass. So they go into a warehouse, they're creeping around, and He-Man starts beating their asses. The warehouse is full of just junk and doesn't really serve any real reason other than just being a trash place. She blasts one because he gave her a blaster. And I've got Beastman versus He-Man. Dispatched. Blade versus He-Man. Dispatched. So he's going up against each of these bounty hunters.
Blade yells out, "My sword!"
My sword!
When He-Man takes it in the battle.
That's what helps me have my name. So the backup shows up. That's Man-at-Arms. That's Tila. They start shooting as well. So I got the BH. The bounty hunters retreat. Most of their henchmen and goons have been beat up, and so the bounty hunters make themselves scarce.
He yells something at Man-at-Arms and Tila to go follow him. And I don't know what he said, but I wrote everything he says is awful.
It's like,
yeah, pretty much.
Go ahead and do the third things.
I don't even know what you just said. That's it.
Every once in a while you can understand me. And every once in a while he'll just take a word and he'll just, like, if I'm speaking, he'll take it and say, hello. It'll, like, elongate out.
Yeah, it draws out.
Like, what the hell?
It's like, I'm afraid you might kill my friends.
It's like, what the hell's going on with you, pal? He's freeze framing.
Oh, we didn't talk about that real quick.
What about?
There's a part in the movie on Netflix where the scene is just frozen.
I don't know.
Yeah, and you hear the people talking, and it's like a frozen shot on the screen. You hear the dialogue still going, and then all of a sudden it just skips to where it should be,
and you lose a bunch of HDs. You lose a bunch.
of HDs. The HD quality dropped out real bad, and we tested it 2 or 3 times, rewinding it to just see if it. Spot. Yeah, it happened in the exact same spot every time, so it was really weird. that occurred.
So Kevin's at the music store. He meets his buddy Charlie.
Yep.
Charlie is introduced into the film.
Yep, I put Tom Paris takes the key to the music store.
Oh, let's look at that.
Yep.
He looks at the key, says he's seen one before. Instantly, your bullshit meter should go off. This is from Eternia. We know that as viewers. And I said he's a bullshitter and a liar, not to be trusted.
Well, here's the thing. If you're taking, like, you bring something you want to trade to me, okay? I have to show little interest in it as the buyer. So
Devalue it.
Yeah, so I can make it seem ho-hum and then, buy it from you cheaper.
I'll take it off your hands.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't fault Charlie for his bargaining tactics.
I just laughed at it. He's a bullshitter and a liar, not to be trusted.
I like his tactics.
Kevin shows its fanciness to him.
Yep. He shows him how to get it erect.
Yep. And cop cars all of a sudden got their sirens on, and they're going past the windows of the store, and of course it's got Charlie's attention. And all of a sudden they're like, "What's going on?" This fucker breaks out a massive radio. I mean, it looks like a Etch-a-Sketch or something up next to his head.
Dude, it looked bigger than that. It looked like he pulled out a lunchbox.
Yeah, it was huge. And he's listening to the CB radios, I guess, of the cop cars or whatever. I've got hilarious. I mean, the thing just is huge. So He-Man fills her in.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. And she says that she's seen that key. What are the odds?
Yeah, I put He-Man and Monica are hobos. They're sitting in trash.
Literally.
Having a discussion. And then this is where I wrote it. Said like Adrian.
Okay.
Dolph can't act!
You can't win!
And then I put first person He-Man meets questions about... First person He-Man meets and questions about the key has actually seen it.
What's the odds of that? It falls at night. At night, it falls down into the woods or into a cemetery. A cemetery. You know how many times you're at a cemetery. And she finds it, and then, like you said, first person.
Cosmic
look. Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Cosmic look.
Super, super convenient. So Kevin goes back to school. He sees that the place is all busted up in a mess. There's cop cars and fire departments, and a lot of people are watching.
And one person in particular, Strickland.
Strickland the cop interrogates Kevin.
In a duster.
Yep.
Now, this is James Tolkien, who you may know as Principal Strickland from the Back to the Future films.
Yep.
He was also in Top Gun. He was the CO of the aircraft carrier that they were on.
He had to send Goose and Maverick to Miramar. Top Gun.
Yep. I got to send you clowns to Miramar.
That's right. And so he's in the movie, and I wrote down Strickland, and he'll be referred to as Strickland.
The entire film is Strickland.
Yep. He interrogates Kevin. Of course, he does a great job in his role. That role's made for any type of role like that, where you have to question somebody. He's perfect for it.
Yeah, he's a good character actor.
Very much so. He's like, well, let's go. He hauls him off to go look for his girlfriend. They get in the car, and they're like, let's go find her, because he's trying to explain to her, hey, look, and he's got that thing in his hand. So our heroes regroup and talk. They're introduced to Monica. Yeah. Of course, now you got me on that.
That's fine.
The little shit shows up.
I call her Monica, Tom Paris, Strickland. Whole film. That's the way my notes
I call her a mixture of Courtney and Julie. The little shit shows up, and he's rigged up an old Cadillac. He's stolen a vehicle now.
Yeah.
And it's full of fancy gizmos.
Yep.
I don't know where he got the parts for this, but all good. I guess he made it through normal junk that's around here.
Grill door shows up in a pink caddy.
Yeah, pink Cadillac.
Yep.
Blah, blah with Skeletor and Evil Lynn.
Yep.
I don't really know what they were talking
about.
The
bounty hunters basically go back to...
Why? I know they needed to get troops, but why couldn't they just been come back, tell Evil Lynn, look, send me some more, don't tell Skeletor.
Yeah.
Don't tell the boss man.
Don't tell me fucked up.
Yeah, they got their asses
Because what happens? Skeletor does what?
He's like, oh, you guys fucked up?
Oh, okay, I understand. Yeah, okay, I'll give you just a little pat on the back. Murder!
Yeah, I'll blast the least human of you.
He kills the reptile guy.
You're a reptile, so I'm going to kill you. Beastman has man in his name, so I'm going to kill the reptile. So he blasts him, and I say reptile boy gets zapped.
Okay. So on, boss.
And I kind of liked him. I thought he was cool.
Okay.
And he's like, look, I'm going to send Evil in with you. He's like, you're going back.
And she's like, whoa, that's not what I meant when I said give him another chance. He's like, well, maybe you shouldn't have spoke up.
Yeah, take that.
Don't fuck up, or the same fate will befall you.
Stay there.
No, she's basically Captain Nita.
That's correct. No Battle Cat, no Panther is what I just wrote.
No Battle Cat, no Panther.
Yep. And at Julie's house, Kevin and Strickland are there.
Now I got a problem with this part.
Of course you do. Go for it.
Monica calls her house.
She knew that he'd be there.
Tom Paris answers the phone with Strickland there. I put, why is she calling her own house? Her parents are dead, so who would she be calling?
Yeah, they're worm food.
The last thing she knew, her boyfriend left to go to the music store.
Mm-hmm.
why would she at all think maybe there's an off chance that he went to my home, entered my dwelling without me there?
He thinks I'm still back at the school and told me to stay here.
And then the phone rings and I'm going to call my house. The phone's going to ring in my house, and he'll just take it upon himself to answer the phone. None of that makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
It's completely stupid.
It's very bad plot movement right there, that's for sure. Talks to Kevin. And then all of a sudden, troops with some sort of craft, they roam the streets and junkyard. They see that the bounty hunters got their asses kicked. They can use some sort of machine that shows what the battle was like. And, of course, Evil Lynn's like, well, it looks like you got your ass kicked. It's what you did by He-Man, and only He-Man. So that's a hit to them.
Yeah, to their credibility.
And they're like, well, he's trying to show... Kevin starts to try to show, because Strickland's asking about the key. And so...
Yeah, so I put Strickland plays the keytar.
And they're trying to pick up the signal of it. And they're like, the microwave is messing with the signal.
Yeah.
And I've got Karg. Ugh, terrible. I really hate that creature. And so they're making... What are they putting in the microwave?
Chicken.
Chicken, that's right.
From her place.
Yep.
And they were heating it up.
Yeah, Robbie's. And he's trying to explain to Strickland about the key, so he starts working with it. Or they're like, look, the microwave's jamming the signal. And so they explode. They blow up the microwave from where they are. Remotely blow it up. Now they've got a good signal on where the key is. Goons, of course, those goons show up. They grab Kevin. He gets his ass kicked.
Yeah, by the way, at this point, Strickland's taken the keytar.
Yeah.
And he's left. He's never heard of finders keepers.
This is a lot of movie of people either showing up right before or after they
something happens.
Yes.
Yeah. I put Beastman shows up and kicks Voyager's ass.
It sure does.
That's what I wrote.
They put a collar around his neck. It's a collar that makes you tell the truth.
Yeah.
I was surprised it wasn't a collar that blows your head up like most futuristic collars.
I got a problem with this scene too, but go ahead.
Explain.
So, as you were saying, they put a collar around his neck.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is to make him tell the truth
Correct.
about where the key has now gone. Okay? Why are they wasting time questioning Tom Paris where the key is? Why not just continue to track it? They tracked the key that was being played to the house.
Yeah.
Strickland literally left a second before they got there. Mm-hmm. Why didn't they just go ahead and follow the signal with him in his car driving to the police department? Where the fuck he was going?
Unknown.
Like, why even stop at the house?
Don't know.
Why waste time questioning him? Like, you could have just said, oh, it's not here. Oh, it's tracking over here. Let's go.
Dude, not only that, they start ransacking her house. For what reason?
I guess, because those troops don't know. Like, they were giving the order outside.
Right.
Evil Lynn's like, when we get in there, you can fucking tear that place apart and find that key. Well, they're in the kitchen with Tom Paris, and the troops are just in the house ransacking and trying to find the key.
True. Well, plus they saw her with He-Man and their little gizmo that let them see what the fight looked like. So they were trying to get information on her. Why they would ransack this house to find out information on this obviously low scientific world that we live in, compared to their stuff. We don't have laser blasters and shit like that and technology like that. I'm like, why would they be like, we need to dig up some dirt on this little girl that he's with? Whatever. She doesn't even have the key. So why are we even chasing her now? But yeah, you're right. It doesn't make much sense. So they ransack the place. They find out Strickland has the key from him. And now they know, of course, the human that's helping He-Man because they find a perfectly good duo of the newspaper printing of her parents being killed and a picture of her with her parents. Okay, so that works out well in this house that they busted up. You know how easy and pictures and stuff are just laying about your house. You don't have to go into like a closet or over here or find it. And so I've got written here, and this is one of my major big beefs with it. How are there no cops on these people at this point? They're walking through this town. They're walking through neighborhoods. Everybody's fucking sleeping like logs, man.
I have an answer. I think the town is like Mayberry, and they've only got like 4 policemen on the force.
And you see them later on.
Right, exactly. That's the whole police force.
Makes no sense, man. They're running completely all over this town. Ships, troops, guns, blasting, nothing.
To be honest with you, though, you were a cop at one point in time.
Yeah.
If you saw like 50 stormtroopers going down the street with blasters,
get on the horn.
Would you?
Greenville County.
Would you go out there?
Greenville County. We need help. Bring a SWAT team. SWAT team. You get help. You get back up. And so they leave. You can see their little ship leaving,
lifting off, flying.
right over the road, and in the distance, not too far away, you see a car coming. It's the Cadillac with our heroes in it.
They don't see this vehicle flying away?
They don't see this flying vehicle in front of them? Of course they didn't, because it wasn't actually there. It was bad special effects. Yeah, okay, He-Man crew didn't see them as they pull up. They find Kevin all busted up and shit inside the house. They free him, and he freaks out.
Yeah, I wrote Voyager's acting is through the roof here.
Yeah. He's like, what are all these freaks?
Yeah, it is ridiculous, his acting in this scene. And then I put Greldor dresses like a moron.
I got he's dressed in drag or some shit. He's looking like fucking E.T.
E.T. when Drew Barrymore dressed him up.
Walking in like a complete dumbass. Back at the music store, Strickland shows it again to Charlie.
Yeah.
Which Charlie should have been like, oh yeah, I've seen this thing.
I think he knew at this point he was being questioned by a cop. He didn't want to be involved. He was like, oh, I don't know what that is. I've never seen it.
Enter our heroes. They pull up to the music store.
Yep.
And Strickland's like, I want some answers. You're who I've been looking for. Obviously, when a big, practically naked, big blonde dude comes walking at you.
Wearing a cape.
What the hell? Little shit comes in saying that they're coming. That the bad guys are coming. Again, no cops. There's no cops. Why isn't he on the horn? Like, I'm by myself, surrounded with people with guns and stuff.
Use that big radio that Charlie has and call for backup.
He pulls out a gun on them.
Yep.
But it's a piddly little gun. But, I mean, still would have killed somebody. So they start to hunker down in the store. They're ready for a fight. They've got a barricade up of keyboards.
Yep.
And Gwildor starts working on the key.
Yep.
Doing his little hand thing.
I put he expertly plays the guitar again. That's
correct. All of a sudden, the troops just walk themselves in through the windows of the music store. They just, like, throw themselves through the windows. They're disrespectful to windows. I think we've got that.
Yep.
And it's a big shootout. More blasting.
Yeah, and I put when the crew, talking about He-Man, Man-at-Arms, when they aim, they're always less effective.
Yeah.
I was like, all shots must be fired from the hip to be effective in this movie.
People fire from, like, the chest and the hip and dual-wield stuff.
Yeah, and they're hitting everything.
Yeah.
But in this scene, they're aiming,
and not getting
and you see blast bolts flying past what they're trying to hit. Aiming is ineffective in this universe.
Correct.
So, everything must be from the hip.
The rest of the heroes are in a room in the back as he's working on the key. And Tila, she runs back into the room, and she pops up. She says something, you need a woman's touch or something like that. She pops up. She blasts like 3 guys, goes back down behind the barricade. She says, woman in arms, as she looks at the camera.
Dead into us.
It's rough. So Kevin has a gun on Strickland, because they still don't trust Strickland now. And Julie sees, as she looks out the window, she sees the tortured soul of her dead mother in yonder alley.
The tortured soul of her dead mother.
And makes it outside as Kevin and Strickland begin to tussle for the gun.
Yeah, to a normal person, she just sees her mom.
Right.
Her mom does one of these, shh, don't tell anybody. Come out here.
I'm lit by yonder streetlight. Framing me up good. Her mother, she runs up to her mother's arms. Her mother tells her that she is undead and rots in hell. But tells her that they were... yeah, that's what she says. And she says that her and her husband, her father, they were doing secret work for the KGB. Now...
KGB?
That's what I got. You weren't paying attention.
She just
they were undercover KGB agents.
Government.
I thought it was KGB agents.
I swear I never heard KGB.
They were doing secret work for the KGB. And little shit shoots the gun, which of course has been knocked away from both of our fighters, Strickland and Kevin, as Julie runs in saying that, hey, my parents are alive. Julie quickly grabs the key and runs outside and gives it to her undead mother, who of course turns out to be Evelyn.
Damn that's what I wrote.
She's got shape-shifting abilities.
Yeah.
And of course now they chase after her, because she's now got the key.
Now, let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. Do you think the actress that was playing her mother was also the actress who played Evelyn?
I don't believe so.
You don't think so? Because I thought it was. Looking at her, I thought it was maybe the same woman playing 2 parts.
I could look into it. It'd be an effort on my part. Strickland gets a shotgun from underneath the counter with Charlie. He runs outside and chases after some of the goons and tells them not to move.
I put mistake.
Yeah, they quickly turn around. He hides behind a car. They blow the fuck out of that car. He would have been killed in the blast.
Yeah, from that blast, yes.
The portal was opened by Evelyn. Troops start marching out. Still no cops. Hovercraft and guys on hoverboards, or I should say small little models on boards, are done by strings out of this portal as Skeletor enters the fray on his floating barge, maybe? I don't know what the fuck it is. So Evelyn fills Skeletor in through super science. They hook up through super science, some sort of mental link, and Evelyn tells them everything that's going on. I've got the hoverboard troops look like ass, and they start to shoot at He-Man. They all hide in a building, and He-Man's able to get on top of one of these hoverboards, knock one of the guys off, and get on his hoverboard. It looks horrible.
Terrible.
It looks like action figures on strings.
To me, it looked like a paper cutout that they were sliding across the cell, like the film cell.
Terrible.
It was just so
This is
bad.
the worst looking special effects that's in this movie. Okay, It's garbage. Now, he blasts some of Evelyn's goons, and as he's flying by, he snatches the key out of her hand.
It was not the same lady. I just looked it up.
And I've got written here, hoverboard versus hoverboard, as he's doing a chicken fight, shooting down the street on these hoverboards. You never saw one person. They never showed one person like look out the window or exclaim or show any type of like human element other than the people there in this movie.
You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. This is the first movie ever that got it right. Because if all that shit was going down in the street, you would not be anywhere near it.
This isn't like
you wouldn't be like these damn gawkers.
Transformers.
The Avengers.
Yeah.
Where fucking
what's going on?
Yeah, all these people are standing out in the street watching this big battle. Like, you get the fuck out of there.
Get moving, asshole.
So yeah, they finally got it right. All the people in this town are bright and they're hiding.
Well, He-Man gets his sidearm gets shot out of his hand or some shit. He pulls out his sword. He dispatches the hoverboard dude. He blows that. The guy just blows up. Like, I thought it was a dude, but when he hits it, it just blows up. I don't know. Robot, I guess, or robot. From behind, there are heroes on top of a building. Skeletor just kind of like raises up his ship, and they didn't hear it. They've got poor hearing. And they try to shoot some blasters at him. He's got some sort of shield. Blaster shots are futile. They're all captured.
Yep.
And all around them on the surrounding building tops are troops.
Yep.
He-Man falls off the board as he gets lightning by Skeletor as he comes flying by.
I'll put He-Man surfs in and fights to no avail.
No. He starts fighting some of the dudes.
Yeah.
And kicking their ass. And Julie gets some lightning blast too for good measure. Like on her
into
leg.
the leg.
Yeah, take that. Because she's like, it's a trap! And he blasts her too. So he's been captured. They're all captured. Skeletor says, return to Eternia with me, He-Man, as my slave, or stay here with them and die. Well, he chooses a life of slavery.
A real hero.
Still no cops. There's been explosions going on, by the way. I mean, you think the fire department would be called? You know what I mean? Like, can we get somebody on the horn around here? And this is not a tiny little city, little town. This is not a town.
No, it was Mayberry. It was like one street.
No, this is a good sized place. So Skeletor and the crew start heading back. They've got He-Man, and at this point, He-Man has lost, I believe, his cape. He's only got his short shorts on and his tank top. Now, Julie's all busted up with sick. All right.
Yeah.
The blast that she got, really fucked up her leg. Okay, it's like a big bubbling mess of sores. And
it apparently put some sort of poison into her body.
And I really would have loved to pop all those things. I wonder what type of juices would come out.
Terrible. You can find the answer to that question on popthatzit.com.
That's correct. Don't go there.
Don't go there.
And I've got another thing I wrote here about...
Joe, don't go there.
Yeah, don't do it,
I
Joe.
know you were instantly typing that in on your computer at work.
I think I wrote here something about Gwildor. What do you think those genitals look like on that guy?
Jesus Christ.
If his cheeks look like that. He's got a lot of extra skin.
He's a eunuch, dude.
I don't know what's going on
He's a eunuch. He doesn't have any of that. They wanted
flaps. He's probably got
they wanted to forbid him from breeding.
I'm certain he's got some sort of flap you have to lift up.
That's horrible.
I mean, look at his cheeks, for crying out loud. Okay, so her leg's all messed up, and they go to clean it from yonder fountain. I try to write yonder as much as I could.
Okay.
And now's when the cops show up, once everybody's gone, of course.
Yeah.
As there's like 4 cops in behind Strickland, and they're like, okay, Strickland. They've all got like their hats on, like cockeyed and stuff. All right, you're crazy.
All right, drunkie.
Yes, where's the monsters? And so they don't have the key, and Gwildor's pretty much like, look, we need the tones. We can't go anywhere. We need those tones. The tones are what are going to help us get to where we need to go. Okay? And it's kind of weird because all of a sudden Kevin's like, oh, I remember that sound. That I guess he's like some sort of savant or something.
Yeah.
He tries to remember. He can remember the tune.
Yeah, and the whole reason they need to get back to Eternia, A, rescue He-Man, B, they got to get the sorceress free so she can use her magic and heal Monica.
That's correct. The wound that's been done to her leg is sorceress in nature.
Yeah.
And she has the power to heal her.
Yeah, I wrote, Greldor is basically telling Tom Paris all this, giving him this bad news that basically she'll die without it. And
Right.
I put Greldor's mask is stuck in an eternal smile, even when giving bad news.
Yeah.
So, because the mask is so bad, there's no emotion, he's constantly smiling while he tells him that his girlfriend's probably going to die.
Correct. And back at the castle, Grayskull, He-Man's there with the bad guys, and Sorceress is looking like Dookie. She's all withered and old-looking, as her powers are being drained from her body.
I put the sorceress has turned into a Muppet.
Yeah, she does look like that a little bit. She's starting to look like some aged wood.
I also wrote, no one speaks English in this film. I put their measurements of time and distance as complete garbage.
It's gibberish talk.
It's like...
Chronometers.
Yeah,
And,
they said parsekian earlier.
It's just gibberish words.
Yeah, like when they were talking about some measure of distance, parsekian or parsectin or something.
I don't know.
Like, it's just all these made up words that they use for time and distance specifically, and they do it throughout the film. And at this point, it had gotten so bad in that last scene where I had to make a note of it because I was like, it's just garbage talk.
Yep.
It's trash talk.
So Skeletor is going to take the power of Grayskull and give it to him for eternity, and He-Man will kneel before him. Now, one of the problems I have with the film is that they didn't really build up what the beef was with He-Man and Skeletor overall. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
There should have been a lot better backstory about this. So whatever. He's really hard up about the fact that he wants He-Man to submit.
I want you to know mentally, between the last scene where they're trying to figure out the Keytar thing and what's going on right now, I had kind of checked out. So I'll let you know when I get back in.
Well, He-Man has been tied up with shackles.
Yep.
He's barely got any clothes on, and Blade now takes an energy whip, starts giving him the 1-2 on the back.
I'm back. I put things have happened.
Jeez, that was quick.
I put things have happened. Whips. That's what I wrote.
Well, Kevin pulls up with the keyboard, and the little shit doesn't see the keys. He's like, "You got to play the keys on this keyboard." He's like, "What?"
Oh shit! Never mind. Sorry, I had more stuff there.
You're an idiot.
I kind of summed it all up. I put things have happened. Whips, gibberish stuff, Monica dying, Keytar still not fixed. That's what I wrote. Yeah. That's what I wrote.
Yeah, the little shit doesn't see the keys. And he's like, "They're right here." I mean, it's 99% of what a keyboard is if you look at an electrical keyboard. I mean,
there's 88 keys.
Yeah, I mean, come on, hit it. And so he plays the keys where he's like, "Oh, okay." So he's hooking it up through the power thing on the side of the building and a bunch of gizmos as Kevin goes over there to comfort a dying Courtney Cox.
Monica.
Yeah. There's more whipping upon He-Man.
Yep.
And the moon is rising to its apex, is told to Skeletor.
I actually like the whip, by the way.
It's cool.
It was all animated.
Yeah,
basically it was animated.
Yeah.
Cartoony, kind of.
Yep.
But it looked cool. The animation on it looked pretty good.
Yep.
And for once, Blade's acting wasn't completely terrible when doing it.
Correct.
So
the cops advance towards our heroes with their shotguns and guns. And Skeletor makes another hollow talk to the people of Eternia in the middle of the night. It's the dead middle of the night, and people are standing out there.
I think it was the same scene from the start of the movie, actually.
Yeah. Energy begins to flow as a door behind the throne opens.
Yep.
He takes He-Man's sword and puts it into like a thing on the side of the throne, and it like locks into place with like some techno gibberish going on with it. And I think that like helped unlock the power of Grayskull for him to absorb it with this apex moon.
That does make sense.
Yeah. And he says, "Kneel before your master." He says he's part of the universe.
Yeah, he keeps saying that he's a god.
Yeah, he says he's a god. He's all of a sudden completely... he's getting this energy, this glowing energy into his face. And all of a sudden it completely surrounds his body. When it goes away, he's got a new set of legendary armor that you'd find in a popular role-playing game.
Yeah, now you and I both had pretty much the same thought here. I wrote, suddenly, Skeletor gets everything he wanted, and he's now ruling Eternia.
Yep.
But that's not enough.
I've got to beat He-Man's ass. I need him to submit.
Not only that, now he says he wants to rule the universe. He's like, fuck Eternia.
Yeah.
I can rule the whole universe.
Okay, great.
I'm like, that's called getting greedy.
Yeah, you're getting greedy, pal.
Just take what you got.
Learn what you got first.
And then I wrote, same as you kind of basically said, I put Skeletor becomes a Power Ranger villain.
Yeah, he powers up. And I would say that, me personally, I thought that the armor looked okay. I mean, his design was...
I don't think it looked terrible.
It doesn't look terrible. I mean, it's a cool... It just wasn't expected for him to all of a sudden be like, "New armor!" You know?
All gold.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, sweet." He moused over them and they were all like legendaries.
Yeah.
So using power from the building, they start to the gizmo, and little shit is made, and strictly tries to rein in their evil doings. He like pops up. He's like, "Okay, you kids."
Yeah.
Well, there's a perfect teleport into the throne room.
Which I believe makes sense. Because here's the thing.
Going to the key.
When he was playing the music earlier on the key, He said, if you guys give me more time, I can even get more specific and not only get us in the throne room, but I can go ahead and open the prison cell that's holding the sorceress.
Correct.
So I think since he was already playing that music,
Right.
and Voyager had already heard it a few times, that's why they were able to teleport straight into the throne room.
Gotcha. That's a good pickup. It's a perfect teleport into the throne room, and it brings Strickland half the car and the wall that was around them. Like the whole area, just like up a big chunk of it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of neat. There's a big shootout, of course. And I like that there wasn't like any type of talk. It's kind of like, hold on, they shown up, shoot them. You know, it's like, get them. So He-Man breaks out of his shackles when Skeletor tries to shoot him with some lightning. He does his shackle up to deflect it. It busts the shackle off of He-Man's arm.
Brilliant.
He's able to pull the other shackle off. Strickland says, fuck it, opens up with his boomstick, starts tearing down a couple of grunts.
Yeah.
Which is enjoyable.
He says, nobody takes pot shots at me.
Yeah. And he's like, bah, bah, bah,
Plus, he's wearing a duster.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't be faded.
No, definitely not. And He-Man starts kicking grunt ass all over the place.
Yeah.
He pushes over a huge statue for some reason.
Strength.
Yeah, he did a test of strength.
And to try to crush people under the statue.
Yep. He-Man swings on a curtain type thing that's hanging down, some sort of banner.
Yeah.
To his sword that was locked into the throne.
Yep.
He pulls it out.
Yep.
There's energy all around him as he says, you can do it.
I have the power.
Yep, and that's from the cartoon, obviously.
Yep. And then I wrote, someone turns off the lights to make the fight cooler.
Yep. Yeah, it's true. There's like a weird turn off the lights, red spotlight on it.
Because the thing, all of a sudden, what happens is Skeletor and He-Man now have to fight. They basically look at each other and they say, you know, this is going to be it.
Yeah, this is it. I'm tired of this shit.
Like, Skeletor basically straight up says it. He's like, this is it. One of us is going to die.
Yeah, we're done with this.
So, that's not appropriate. Inappropriate.
You're crazy. You got late night delirium.
Yeah. So, He-Man... I hate you right now.
Okay.
So, He-Man's... I can't do it.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, I'll be serious. We gotta get done with this.
Yeah, we're almost done.
All right, so they start having this fight. Skeletor's got a staff. He-Man's got a sword. Every time they hit, it's like causing like sparks and flashes of light. So naturally, what are you going to do in a scene like that?
Turn off the lights.
Turn off the lights to make the fight cooler.
Yeah, it's like a glow stick. You got to turn off the light to make it.
And that's what happened.
Yep.
So
He-Man busts his staff, and Skeletor goes back to normal. He loses his armor.
Yep. Thus his power.
And Skeletor's like, it's over. And that's what He-Man says. He says, it's over. And he goes, yes. For you! As he pulls out another sword.
Right.
But there's a hits back and forth, and he falls into a pit. Not like Star Wars at all.
Slowly backwards.
Yeah, it reminds me very much of the Emperor going down.
I put fight over, lights back on.
That's correct.
Somebody hit the...
Flip.
Grildor hit the light switch in the back of the room again, turn the lights back on.
Good job, guys. We got this. They won. Victory.
Yep.
Sorceress is back to normal when you look over.
Yep, no longer a Muppet.
Nope. Strickland is going to stay here. It switches over to another scene, obviously later on, much later on. As Strickland is going to stay there, he sits beside the throne of Sorceress.
Yep.
He's in new threads.
In a toga.
He's in a toga. And he says, hey, why would I go back? I got a castle. I got a woman. And all of a sudden there's some short-haired woman that's like...
sitting in his lap.
Yeah, pining over him. I'm like, what the hell?
Well, first of all, like, how does he have a castle? Like, that Castle Grayskull is not yours, buddy.
Not yours.
Like, I don't know how that happened.
Yeah. You want to pay the light bill around here, pal? Can you imagine?
No, maybe he was the one turning the lights off.
That's true.
This place will be mine soon. I gotta start conserving energy.
And they're starting to say their goodbyes, and of course they tell her, "Don't say goodbye.
Don't say goodbye. We say good journey.
Good journey." And Gwildor, he's got bows in his hair.
I put He-Man got a hold of golden pauldrons for pre-ordering Diablo 3.
Yeah, he did. He got a pre-order bonus.
Yeah, so he had these nice golden pauldrons on his shoulders. Yep. Back to his shitty cape that he's wearing.
This is where I question Gwildor's genitals down below. His flesh knot down there. So they send Kevin and Julie back.
His flesh knot.
I don't know what it is. It's a mess. I'm certain it's a mess. I mean, if his face looks like that, come on. So,
dude, he's an alien. For all you know, those are his genitals on his face.
Good Lord. So they're sending Kevin and Julie back. Right as they're about to go out into the portal, she looks back and she yells. She's like, no, send me back too. And it kind of trails off.
Yeah.
Okay. So she wakes up from her house. She's in like a 1940s pajamas for a woman.
Yeah.
And her house is not ransacked anymore. She runs down the stairs. Her parents are still alive.
Brilliant. I got a problem with this. At what point any time during the film did they say that the key could send you anywhere in time or space. Like, it was supposed to just be able to open doorways to anywhere.
Yeah.
But they never said it could send you through time.
You can fix any of these problems with time. I don't know. That was a new enhancement that he had done to the key. He got several materials, and he went over. He went over to the blacksmith.
He took Skeletor's key and his key, and he upgraded.
Yeah,
he melded them together and upgraded.
He went to a blacksmith and did a little thing.
No, he's a locksmith. He did it himself.
That's true. So there's hugs and kisses, of course, that her, and she's like, no, don't go on that plane. I don't want you to go on that plane. I got a bad feeling about that plane. Well, she grabs. What does she grab? Like
all the keys.
All the keys and stuff.
Like for, I guess, the car keys and probably the plane keys. I don't know.
Yep, she runs out into the street where Kevin's already got his... He didn't get changed in clothes. Like, he's got still his leather jacket and shit.
Right.
She was in pajamas. And what had happened was, when they had left Eternia, Sorceress had given him a ball, like a little blue ball that's got some gold around it. Some sort of ornament or something. And they hug in the street, and there's no one, of course, no one on the street.
No cars.
They look at the blue ball thing Kevin was given to him by the sorceress, and they zoom in on the ball, and it looked to me like Grayskull dwelleth inside. And there we see Masters of the Universe pop up back again on the screen, right?
Yeah, it was He-Man. He says, "I have the power." Again.
He goes, "I have the power." I thought it was by the power. I wanted to hear that, by the power of Grayskull.
Yeah.
Power. And so the credits are rolling. Linkin Park, I believe, is doing the song at the end.
Linkin Park,
and then there is an after credit scene that we neither of us knew about.
No, I just fast forwarded it as just a check.
We didn't sit around at movies after the credits back in those days. People didn't really do this too much.
No,
well, all of a sudden it shows water and
boiling,
there's like pink mist all around.
Yeah,
all of a sudden a stark nude Skeletor pops up out of the water and he says, "I'll be back."
And then it freezes.
And it freezes on his face.
I'll be back.
Masters of the Universe, 1987.
All right. So you've heard us talk about it. Go watch it.
No.
It's on Netflix.
Well,
it's not awful.
All right. You want to take it first?
Yeah, man. I mean, we'll talk about it. It's not a terrible film.
No, it's
okay.
Not.
It's above the standard of what we normally talk about.
It's
for
got
the last
17%
couple months. But like you said, there's a lot of cool things in it, man. A lot of the costumes are kind of, for the most part, pretty cool. Okay. I mean, like, it's not...
There's nothing to hate with the outfits or the way some stuff looks, except for Karg. Karg should have been stamped out long ago in making this movie.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not an awful film. I don't regret us watching it tonight. I would watch it again down the road, maybe.
I might watch it down the road.
It's got one of the coolest fucking Blu-ray covers I've ever seen for a film. Have you seen this? Ready?
Yeah, see.
There it is.
Oh, that's pretty decent.
I mean, as far as Blu-ray movies go, the fucking cover of this thing looks badass.
Right. Anything else?
I don't know who that is. That ain't Dolph Lundgren on there.
No, it's me. I think it's me on there. It's got my muscles.
I mean, like I said, it's not an awful movie. It's worth a watch. I think, it is a little bit long. It's an hour and 45 minutes.
It's a little long.
They definitely could have cut it. Yeah. They could have made it a 90-minute movie and it would have been all right. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts on it.
Okay.
And obviously, I pointed out the problems I have with the film, but it's nothing, terribly detrimental. No. What about you?
Well, I would say that the movie, of course, it loses me once it gets to Earth. It's not scenes that I wanted to see. It's not how I wanted to see those characters. I've already stated that in this episode here. Some stuff does look good. Some stuff does look good in it. There, of course, is some terrible plot holes in it, like most of these movies are. I think that Skeletor's done justice to. I think He-Man is shortchanged to some degree. He doesn't have a lot of the stuff that he has. We don't get to see the dual personalities of Adam and He-Man. We don't get to see any of that. We don't get to see the Battle Cat. We don't get to see a lot of the staple stuff. As kids, we grew up watching the cartoon. We didn't get a lot of that. And that's where, for me, the movie takes its most damage from. Okay? Right. Wildor's just a stupid character, which, by the way, was nominated for a Razzie. He was for Wildor.
Awesome.
Yep.
And Best supporting actor, I guess?
Yep. He lost. Do you want to know who he lost to? The boy from Over the Top. The boy from Over the Top got worst.
I don't agree with that at all.
I don't know.
I've seen Over the Top many times.
Now, that kid's not great, but...
Right, but he's not as bad as Gildor.
Yeah, Gildor's just irritating. And again, he was he is a prime focus for me in the movie because not only is he kind of irritating, he's supposed to be cute and cool, but he's not really, and he's a character that we just don't know, and I didn't like that. I know when I watched that when I was 10 years old, I was like, I don't know who this character is, I don't like him, I want Orko, I want some of these other characters I know, I want some of the bad guys I know. I don't understand why they couldn't use all the bad guys we had seen through He-Man. The only one we got was Beastman and Evil Lyn. I was like, where are all the other ones? Where's that tri-eyed dude? What was his name? The 3 eyes.
Triclops.
Yeah, Triclops was awesome. He was like a staple. The dude with the jaw. Lockjaw, was that his name? That would have been awesome to see. Okay. And so that's really, for me, when I first watched it, that's what I really hated, and I still hate it today. Of course, when they go into Earth, it's strictly, for me, it's a budget thing. And it just screams budget. Anytime they say, hey, we're going to take you out and put you into modern times, it's for budget reasons. There not being any cops and stuff is stupid, but this is supposed to appeal to kids. But I will say, the good things of it are, the cape that He-Man wore was awesome. I think we both agree. Cape's terrible. Yeah, Cape's terrible. And I think that's because they just didn't want him through the whole movie without something covering up his muscles.
But why?
I don't know.
Why would you get Dolph Lundgren to play the role and then try to cover him up?
Probably because it was PG, I guess. I don't know, dude. I'm just trying to think of what
I don't know.
It doesn't make sense to me either. I think the costumes are okay. Skeletorn's done justice, and he is a character of big personality, so I think they did a good job with him. And I will say, I think that it does have a lot of action in it. In between there is some boring parts and some chasing after one another and
constantly missing each other.
But when there is action, I think the action is very serviceable for its time and its scope of shootouts and guys getting shot. And I mean, it's an action-packed movie, I would say that. It's just, it's filled in with this other crap that I didn't really care for. And I think the last part of the movie is good. Once they get back to Eternia, it's great. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's all the good scenes.
Unfortunately, if you combine all the time that they're in Eternia, probably 22 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe 30 minutes of the movie.
Courtney Cox isn't bad. None of the. I don't think any of the actors really are bad,
except for the one scene with fucking Voyager,
right? When
he was flipping out the kitchen.
Yeah, and Gwildor was terrible. But other than that, everybody is serviceable in the film. There's a lot of convenience that happens in it. Some of the reviews here say it's a jarring mix of corny screwball comedy and choppy action heroics. I like this one. It says it's a misfiring, undone epic, which is true. Like it's not complete. Like they gave you a little bit of what you wanted, and to get to that kind of thing that you know, and then they completely pulled it back and went to Earth, and it became shit and characters that you didn't know. But yeah, this guy once said it's a Conan Star Wars hybrid ripoff. Somewhat, except with modern twist. Obviously, he says that it's a colossal bore. I like that. But, I don't know. It's predictable. But that's it. It's not great, man. It's not great. But yeah, Billy Barty received a Golden Razzie Award for it.
Nomination.
Sorry. Yeah, nomination. And that's it, dude. I mean, there've been talk, of course, of making, of some sort of reboot of it. It's been talked about in 2009, 2007, 2012, and again 2014. And they're still not really sure what's going on with it. They're rewriting scripts and stuff.
I think.
And now on August 19th, announced that Chris Yost has been hired to write the film, which I'm fine with.
And Chris Pratt will play He-Man.
Oh, jeez. But this guy has written like Dark World or something like Thor: The Dark World type, so they're getting people from from the superhero movies. But that's Master of the Universe. I would probably give it.
I'm gonna go 3.5 stars. 3 stars.
I go 3 stars.
I go 3 stars.
I go 3 stars. To be honest with you, it's barely getting that 3-star. Because really, like I said, the only parts if you can take,
we're still on a 5-star scale, right?
Yeah. If you could just take the beginning, all the action scenes were on Earth, which I think are very serviceable and okay, except for the terrible. I mean, special effects are bad. I don't hold that against the action. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm not gonna
like the hoverboards.
I'm not going to hold it necessarily overall against the movie because it's a product of its time,
right? And it looks bad in HD.
Yeah,
it looks worse.
It's just hard. I mean, a lot of things that when you were younger that look good look rough as you get older,
and better quality too.
Yeah, I mean, so it's
the back end, take the front end, and take all the action scenes, get rid of Gwildor altogether. Really. I mean, he's got scrotums on his face for crying out loud.
Poor Billy Barty.
Trash. And that's it. And that's Masters of the Universe.
So what's our next film going to be?
Our next film's going to be... I just said it to you earlier, I thought.
I don't remember.
I think you own it.
Leprechaun? No.
You got Dick Tracy?
I don't have Dick Tracy, but that is what you said.
No, it wasn't when I said earlier, but I'd said that the other week.
That was like last week.
But I thought there was something I had talked about here that I said we were going to do.
You said Cocoon, but I'm never
not that. No, this is when we were watching the film. What the hell was it?
Should have made a note.
Oh, well, we'll figure it out.
We were taking notes.
We'll figure it out. But we got to wrap this up. It's getting late.
Possibly Dick Tracy.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
There's going to be another bad one. Anything else you got on the back end?
Yeah, you can reach me on Twitter. I'm Abe Randall.
And I'm Savage GM.
And, of course, we are Go Ape Podcast on Twitter.
Yep, and we're on iTunes. And if you are not on iTunes, I just put it out there because somebody was asking more information. You can find the actual podcast where it's placed on Podcast Garden. That's who we have it through. And you can find the MP3s there and stuff like that if you don't have iTunes.
Yeah, if you can only just
I found out this week that some people don't have iTunes, which... I understand.
I understand, too.
It's terrible software.
iTunes is horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible software.
I mean, it makes you fucking update every 2 days.
And it's terrible. It breaks shit when it updates. So.
Yeah, so I understand the lack of not wanting iTunes. So, yeah.
So you can find it. It's on Podcast Garden. Search for it. Go Ape Podcast. This is 56.
Yeah.
And we're going to get there. I can't wait till we get 100. It's going to be great.
100.
What do you mean?
Okay. I do want to leave our listeners with a recommendation this week of an actual movie that I enjoyed as a kid that might be worth watching. On Netflix right now, they've also added the movie The Monster Squad.
Ooh.
So while it does have rough kid acting in it,
it's got some great.
It's got some great makeup effects.
Yep.
Makeup effects in it also.
Yep.
And some stuff looks good in it.
And it's got Rudy in it too.
It does, and it has Rock Until You Drop.
And how did Rudy not do more stuff after that movie? He was an awesome kid.
I don't know.
I remember when I watched Monster Squad, I was like, he's the shit.
I watched it again last week, Monster Squad. Yeah. I found like pretty much all those kids on Twitter nowadays.
That's awesome.
They all have like 900 followers. Nobody knows who they are. But it's like, why has somebody not got them all at a convention together?
I don't know. I do know one of my Twitter guys that I follow. He let his kids watch it the other day, and they loved it. Of course, they say it still holds up. Still holds up.
No, I still like it. I'll always like it because I liked it as a kid. But
it's perfect.
There is some rough acting with some of the kids in the movie, but overall, it's still a good movie.
It's got some quotable lines. It's got great special effects. It's got some great villains. Got some great kid. Like I said, when I was a kid and I saw Rudy, I was like, I want to be Rudy.
He was on Kids Incorporated, so
he was great. He was badass, man. He was badass. But yeah, good flick, man. So yeah, check that out. I'll figure out what it was that I thought we were going to talk. And I may come up with something completely different.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
Yeah. That's it. I guess that's it. And we got a song coming in.
Did you pick it?
Yeah, I did. And it's right there.
Awesome.
There it is. And we're grooving to it. And so until next time, go Ape.
Good journey.
Good journey.